Coming up today, we got updates on trade requests out there in Heat and Clipper and Sixer land. Beard, cry me a river. I also got NFL's preseason updates, a cool story out of Dallas. And the Commanders, I got a new mascot for you, and it's the scariest goddamn thing I've ever seen. Stay tuned. What's up, everyone? It's another edition of Tricky Guy Sports. It's your host, Brent Bilski, a.k.a. Double B. We're talking trade requests today, and basically owners and GMs going little big league, and I love it. I am so not with the modern athlete, and it's the offseason still. I still consider NFL preseason offseason, so we're really still focusing on deals, who's going where. I got some big trade updates as well to discuss, but just in general, in 2023, I'm telling you, I don't want to hear it, man. I don't get the bitching, and I love that there's finally some pushback on this absolute crybaby nonsense I'm hearing from a lot of people who don't deserve the whatever they think they're entitled to.
Cry me a river, you fat baby. You disgust me.
Like, you look at Johnathan Taylor out there in the Indianapolis Colts land. Here's a guy who's on the last year of his rookie deal. He missed the last 7 games where he had an ankle surgery where apparently he wasn't giving ears saying them all the truth about what he was going through. His numbers were down from the year before. It's been proven through metrics that running backs are maybe not as valuable as they once were, and he's going on to this trade me or I'm not going to play thing, and Irsay just kind of looked at him and said, no, we're good, bro. We're good there. James Harden opted into his 1-year deal. He was just off a Game 7 elimination where the dude only had 9 points and 0 in the second half. He had his 3rd trade request in 3 years. He's known to party, allegedly. He joins his teammate Embiid as one of only 10 MVPs who doesn't have a ring. He's 33 years old. He's only played 82 games, since like 2016 or something. He now openly calls out his own general manager and calls him a liar and is deciding, I want a good trade request, and apparently no one's fulfilling it. And somehow this dude is shocked. It is just fascinating to me how these guys have this idea that somehow the world owes them a favor. And it's interesting, too, that you, the sports fan, is much more empathetic and sympathetic than I've ever been to this nonsense where, they got their deal, there's CBAs, there's things that are put in line, and yet somehow there's this like, oh, it's so sad. Oh, it's so sad that they're unhappy for like all of 3 months or whatever it is. The same people who always hear bitch about the 1% and the entitlement of the rich and no. Yet somehow when it comes to your athlete, I get much more comments and things that are sympathetic, empathetic to this absolute nonsense. And I guess I'm on the other side of this. I'm like, you guys can kiss my ass from here to kingdom come. I don't get it.
I don't get it. I don't get it.
So finally seeing someone go little big league on somebody and a couple of these players, I want to get into the trade updates here, including Damian Lillard and some other ones. This is a lot of big news. But this just, when I say little big league, maybe a lot of y'all haven't seen this yet, or I'd never seen it at all or heard of it. In the 90s, where the best movies were made, I'm not even going to argue that one. That's just a fact. 90s just had a plethora of great movies. There was one out there, do y'all remember, called Little Big League, where this, through a handsome circumstance, or whatever you want to call it, this 12-year-old kid gets to, he was the owner of the Minnesota Twins due to the fact his grandpa dying, and then he decides to become a manager because he's really good at baseball. Anyways, long story short, there's a pitcher on the team who's disgruntled, and he is trying to say that he doesn't want to play anymore, he wants to be traded XYZ, and it took the logic of a 12-year-old to snap him back into it. Well, you're starting to see owners and general managers follow the little big league logic. That's why I say they're little big league them. And so, I mean, hopefully YouTube and copyrights, kiss my ass. This is just a quick clip. I just want to show people this is what I'm trying to say when I say it's time to little big league these athletes and their trade requests. This is, again, a beautiful movie from the 90s if you've never seen it. But yeah, the guy wants a trade, and the 12-year-old manager handles it pretty damn well.
You're a freaking prima donna, McGreevy. You don't deserve to wear that uniform.
You're right, Zach. I'm a disgrace to the Twins. I think you should trade me.
Well, as soon as we find somebody dumb enough to take you, that's exactly what we're gonna do.
No, we're not. We're not trading you.
So what are you gonna do? Bench me?
Nope. Play you. When it's your turn to pitch, you pitch. Nothing changes.
You know, I don't think that's such a good idea. I have a feeling my concentration's not going to be that good out there. I tend to forget some of those scouting reports.
Well, that's up to you. You're the free agent. Hey, Mac, what's the going rate for an absent-minded pitcher who can't get anybody out?
It really is, and of course he goes on to play well in the movie, but I mean, it's the same thing. You know, I am fully for these general managers and owners just finally a little big leaguing these guys.
I like that idea, and I will support it.
You know, Johnathan Taylor, you're coming off an injury year. Your numbers are down. The running back value is down, and you're an unrestricted free agent next year. What's the going rate on a running back who's freshly injured coming off ankle surgery with, you know, and if he decides to sit out, take 1.5 years off? If you're general manager Daryl Morey and you got a guy who opted into his deal, is on his third trade request in 3 years, just had another bad playoff performance, and is 33 years old, and then openly calls out the last general manager who was a friend to him, gee, what's the going rate on a 34-year-old partying, you know, allegedly malcontent whose numbers are down, has 0 championship rings and a lot of bad attitude? What's the going rate on that guy? Probably not that good. So if you say you don't want to play, then don't play. It's your career. But give me a freaking break and lose me this idea of this sympathetic nonsense that we just need to kiss these guys' ass or somehow feel sorry for them when, you know, JT, at least, you know, in the level of pro athletes and his production, only getting $4 million this year is brutal. I mean, it is what it is, but he's still making $4 million. You know, James Harden, I mean, miss me with all the James Harden stuff. In case you haven't heard, too, he is just, once again, this is a guy who in the Westbrook, Iverson, John Morant, you know, all different reasons with different guys, but these are just guys who just can't get out of their own way and then somehow have the nerve to then turn around and go, oh, it's so unfair what happens to me. Everyone mistreats me. Everyone loves to ignore common denominator. I don't know about you, that pisses me off to no end. When you got someone in your life, whether, you know, they're dating or, you know, they can't find the right person or they get fired a lot and they can't always, you know, they're always going after the boss or just whatever. It's just always outward, fingers pointing here, fingers pointing there, never want to take any accountability or self-responsibility, and then somehow have the nerve to still play the victim. It's almost fascinating if it wasn't so god dang annoying. So in case you missed it, this is one of the latest trade updates. James Harden is trying to get to the Los Angeles Clippers. It's very well known that James Harden wants to be an LA Clipper, which would, again, I believe, be his third or fourth team in 4 years, as he's had 3 trade requests now in the last 3 years. I mean, it is phenomenal, the self-centeredness of a James Harden who hasn't won a damn thing anywhere yet, and once again choked in a big Game 7, had no points in the second half, which is just unbelievable to me when you were, you know, trying to make a big point about how great you are and how important you are. And in the second half of a Game 7 where you only had 9 points total, James Harden had 0.
0.0.
And now I got to hear this moron go again, tell me how much he needs to be traded.
There we go again.
So, you know, he was in China somewhere doing some media event, doing some sort of press conference, and actually calls Daryl Morey a liar, and now really, you know, after opting into his contract, is hammered down on the idea that apparently he doesn't want to play, he's not going to play, he's going to pull a Mike McGreevy here. And so I got the audio, and I mean, in case you miss it, just so you know, he doubles down on the statement. So this is not a flub. This is not a mistake. He clearly wants to make the point that he thinks Daryl Morey's a liar and he's never going to play for him again. So James Harden, with a microphone connected to his shirt, here you go. Here we go.
Daryl Morey is a liar, and I will never be a part of an organization that he's a part of. Let me say that again. Daryl Morey is a liar, and I will never be a part of an organization that he's a part of.
I mean, so in case you missed, let's do it one more time. I mean, he's got cameras surrounding him. I think they hooked him up with like one of the little news anchor mics to make sure, you know, is this thing on? Like he clearly knows what's up, and he doesn't just say it once, like under his breath. He like public speak body language in front of an entire crowd, hammers on this idea that somehow Daryl Morey, the one guy who's consistently shown him patience and love and everything else, now even he as a general manager is a liar and not good enough for old James Harden. James can't play for someone that, you know, doesn't have the integrity that the Beard does.
Daryl Morey is a liar, and I will never be a part of an organization that he's a part of. Let me say that again. Daryl Morey is a liar, and I will never be a part of an organization that he's a part of.
All right, so here we go.
Cry me a river, you fat baby. You disgust me.
So let's discuss. Let's get into exactly what the hell James Harden's talking about and what does this mean for the Clippers and the 76ers. So again, he's disgruntled and he says that that Daryl Morey is lying to him because when he opted in to his final year of his deal here for $36 million, by the way. So, anyways, so he opts into his $36 million deal and basically says, I'm going to opt in with the idea that I want to be traded. And so Morey actually, according to all reports that I can find, actually said, okay, we'll look into this. We want to honor your request and, see what we can do. Then the actual MVP of their team and the guy who really is important for their future, Joel Embiid, made a statement basically along the lines of, if I don't do it here, I'd like to do it somewhere, kind of hinting at, hey, Morey, don't leave me in the lurch here, man. We were in the Eastern Conference Finals, Game 7. I'm that close. I really want to make sure we compete for a title. And so then Morey tries to shop James Harden, who, again, is 33 or 34 years old at this point. He hasn't played 82 games in over 8 seasons. He only played 44, 21, 58 the last 3 years. He had another piss-poor clutch moment playoff performance where in Game 7 he only had 9 points and 0 in the second half. He's on a 1-year rental because he opted into his 1-year deal, meaning whatever team takes him is only going to be able to have him for a year, and then they're going to have to deal with all of his nonsense again. He is known. It is pretty well known throughout circles, and I'll continue to say allegedly, that he's not exactly Kobe Bryant when it comes to game preparation as far as taking his body seriously, not partying, not staying out late. I might happen to live in the former building that he used to live in, and the alleged rumors that I can't confirm none of them are like, man, James Harden's just working out, 5 in the morning until 2 in the afternoon or whatever it is. There's a lot of other reports that James likes to experience the nightlife and do a lot of other things out there. And so throw all that together if you're Daryl Morey and try to make a trade package. And it turns out the Los Angeles Clippers, where he wants to go, and others don't want to give up a lot of things that keep Philadelphia in the immediate future, a contender and to make Embiid happy. It's shocking, I know, but apparently the 34-year-old malcontent who likes to party, who continues to have piss-poor clutch performances in the playoffs, and is now openly calling out the owner or general manager, who is actually a friend to him, is somehow shocking to him and everyone in his camp that they can't really get good trade value now for the beard.
Is this real life?
I know, strange. And so now James is going out publicly, not just, through Twitter. I mean, not through just some sort of, passive aggressive. Not only said it once, he said it again and repeated it to emphasize that, again, he's some poor victim, that he's somehow, this rough situation that he's in. And so, little big league him. I love it. I love that, Daryl Morey, as basically, as all reports are now saying, sources told Adrian Wojnarowski that they plan to bring Harden back for the start of the season, and that they're really just kind of saying, hey, you did sign the deal. You signed the 1-year opt-in. We are not getting decent trade value for you. I know this nonsense you just pulled, publicly calling out the owner general manager who's been your friend. Daryl Morey has been around him for years. Matter of fact, James Harden, even specifically has requested to be with Morey before because of their personal relationship. Now he's openly bitching about him, a la, Taylor Swift putting out a diss song about him. And this is now his 3rd trade request in 3 years. And he's shocked that the market is cold on him. And so they're like, look, man, we got Embiid. We got to keep happy. You're going to have to come back and figure this out and quit all your bitching, Flapjack. We're just going to have to go ahead and get things going, because the fact is we were a Game 7 away from the, Eastern Conference Finals, and are really close when you consider Boston has to figure out what they got going on with now Porzingis, and Miami still not getting their trade maybe, and maybe getting Damian Lillard, Milwaukee with new coaching, and after their, round 1 upset, that, there's an opportunity for Philadelphia to come back as is to, at least possibly compete. And then not even to mention the fact that if Daryl Morey doesn't do what Harden wants, which is either A, sign him long-term, or B, trade him, after one more year of using his services, after James requested to be there just 2 years ago, then he's going to have $70-something million up in free agency cap space that he can go on to use to get younger, less, bitching, whining, more talented players that he can stack around Joel Embiid. So Daryl Morey, who has always been a friend to James Harden, is looking at this situation and saying, you can cry me a river. I don't care what you want. And what's the going rate, again, on a 34-year-old party and malcontent with no playoff performances, 3 trade requests in 3 years, overall bad attitude, and continues to, be this mercurial weirdo that calls out the only general manager who actually liked him. The fact is, you're getting $34 million, suit up and play, or sit out. Either way, I'm not giving you what you want. I'm not getting the value that I deserve back, and that's going to keep my real MVP happy. So get over it.
Cry me a river, you fat baby. You disgust me.
He's little big leaguing him. He's basically saying, what's the going rate on you if you want to go into next year unrestricted free agent being a malcontent this entire season? What are you going to do? Jim Irsay, again, same thing I thought was interesting, looking at the last year of his rookie running backs deal in a year where it's been proven through metrics and contracts and everything else that running backs are not valued, and you don't pay your top running backs anymore if you want to win a Super Bowl, when, like I pointed out 1,000 times, you can look from 2009 to 2021, when you look at NFL running backs, the only ones who won the Super Bowl, every team that won the Super Bowl from 2009 to 2021, their running back that was the leading rusher that game was paid either $2.5 million or less. He's coming off a year where he just missed the last 7 games of the season because he had an ankle injury, had surgery on it, then goes on to say, quote, yeah, it's been bothering me for years, and so they got to clear up a lot of stuff, but I'm fine now, but that's all I want to answer questions on. So, they got him for the last year of his deal. He's coming off an ankle injury. Running backs have already been devalued, and then he has the nerve to go to Jim Irsay, I want a long-term contract even though I missed the last 7 games and I'm coming off surgery, or, I don't want to play. And Irsay just basically said no. And he said it publicly. Irsay just said, you can, again, cry me a river.
Cry me a river, you fat baby. You disgust me.
I mean, I really don't care. Especially in the NFL, your money's not guaranteed, buddy. You can either go and sit out and do what you want, but you're under contract, and we expect you to come back and play next year. And again, what's the going rate on an injury-prone running back at a position where it's already been devalued? And, oh, by the way, his numbers have been down this year, too, in case you don't know. Yards per catch, yards after contact, yards. There's like 3 or 4 metrics that you can look with Johnathan Taylor that have been down this season. So what's the going rate on a running back with his numbers down in a market devalued season where he's coming off missing the last 7 games and has an issue with his ankle that he hasn't fully disclosed? What's going to be his going rate next year when he goes into unrestricted free agency after the last year of his deal? I love it. I am for it. I like it. I am tired of seeing these athletes bitch.
I like that idea, and I will support it.
I don't feel it. I don't feel some of the sympathy some of y'all do. I don't understand the Hands Across America for professional athletes. They're not. Their lives aren't so bad, man. These guys' lives aren't so bad, and not to hammer home this point, but you do also know the average professional athlete wouldn't piss on you if you're on fire. It's not that they're all bad people or whatever, but professional athletes, and this is a guy who's grown up loving sports, played sports, I'll tell you as a fact, most of these dudes are young, narcissistic, self-centered, and just have to be protected anyways, because when they go out in public, your average favorite athlete that you cry for and be like, he's not getting paid enough, and it's not fair, and no. If you asked him for an autograph, he'd probably roll his eyes at you. He might take a selfie if he has the time for it. And as I continue to hear the same person, again, the same Joe Sixpack, complain to me about these insensitive 1%ers and their constant, self-centeredness and their whining about how hard their life is when really they got it good. Yet somehow you'll get to the pro athlete of your favorite team and have this like, for just 70 cents a day, you too could help Johnathan Taylor get his long-term deal, or have James Harden get his 4th trade in like the last 5 seasons. Let's help them out. And I just, maybe now players will focus more on the CBAs and what comes with it, and maybe that intelligence will continue to increase in those areas. But until then, to finally see the owners and general managers kind of, grow their balls back a little bit, and especially in guys that are coming off, rough seasons and are going to be unrestricted free agents the year after it, that are trying to put any leverage or any power that they don't have to finally just go little big league and go like, all right, what do you think the going rate is on you as a free agent if you decide to sit out or pout or not perform this season? It's your money. You do what you want. You do what you want, but we're going to go ahead and when it's time for you to play, if you're healthy, we're going to play you, or if not, you're going to sit out and just continue to make your value go down and down and down. I'm all for it.
I like that idea, and I will support it.
All right, on the other side, let me get into this trade update real quick, too. Miami needs a hero. Well, they need a hero, basically, to get Damian Lillard out of Miami. Latest reports here, in case you missed it, is that the Miami Heat and Portland Trailblazers have stalemated in their negotiations, which sucks. This has become just a long, drag-out situation between Miami and Portland that might continue to drag out as we go forward here, which is unfortunate because I like everyone else, I would like to see Damian Lillard in Miami. I would like to see him go ahead and get an opportunity to perform in the big moments, as we've seen Damian perform consistently, playoffs included, when he does get there. He is a big game shooter, big game performer. We would all love to see him in a truly competitive, maybe chance to get a ring situation. And it's all being held up because, again, this is sad for everyone around, but I also understand, even in this situation where Damian Lillard, has 10 seasons of playing great, or 11, I believe, drama-free seasons, coming off his best performing year for a down year, continued to be a consummate professional. And you did draft, if you're Portland, Scoot Henderson, you did draft, his up-and-coming replacement. And so for Damian to make his trade request, I'm not putting him in the Johnathan Taylors and the James Hardens and some of the other guys' situation. I think he deserves it, but you also got to realize that the Portland Trailblazers are dealing with arguably the best player in their franchise history. You could throw in maybe Bill Walton and Clyde Drexler. But, overall, this is it for them. This is a big move for Cronin and the boys. And for them to look around, and as much as you want to acquiesce to your, great franchise player's request here and that you're actually on board with the trade, the fact is Miami doesn't have the best package. They just don't. There are other situations, and there are other teams out there that can give them a much better overall deal. And so this has just become this long stalemate, and I understand it because what do you do? What do you do if you're it's really easy for us to say, just get his ass to Miami. That's what we want to see. But what do you do if you're the GM? What do you do if you're Cronin? And he's like, hey, I want to go here. And you're like, well, they don't have hardly anything I want. And Tyler Hero, though, at least, we needed a hero, and we got one. We needed a hero. He seems pissed off, and he just came off a Summer League performance. I don't know if y'all saw this. Tyler Hero went out there and did his thing. And this is Summer League. It's what it is, but, his performance has got, people buzzing, and hopefully is able to continue to move this forward in the 3 or 4 team trade scenarios that we're looking at, where somebody is going to be able to jump in and give Miami this extra 1 or 2 first-rounders that they need in order to make this Damian Lillard to Miami situation finally happen and make all of us happy. Tyler did go bananas in a recent Summer League and has created the buzz necessary and is looking like he is, still fired up, even though he just got his bag to prove a point that how dare you guys think that I should be just this, dangleable trade bait. Watch Tyler go off. Tyler, and is a good player. That's the other part of this that a lot of people forget about. Tyler Hero, is coming off for 3 years in a row. He continues to pump up his numbers as he went just from last 2 years, 15 points a game to 20 points per game, upped his rebounds, upped his assist. And, these aren't, this isn't Giannis Antetokounmpo on defense, but these aren't scrubs. And as you can see, looks great, looks in shape, looks confident, is clearly putting in the work in the offseason here, even though he just got his big contract, $120-something million. Went off for 44 points in this game and looked good the entire time. As you can see, these guys aren't scrubs that he's going against here as he knocks down another 3. And, just overall, it looks like that he's ready to contribute to whatever team wants to take him, as he is the big dangleable bait. That was the game winner right there, and the crowd went nuts, and fans also went nuts in Miami, all of a sudden going like, well, maybe we shouldn't, give up Tyler Hero in order to bring Damian Lillard. It is Summer League, so, don't get too freaked out. Don't get too excited. Don't get Jesse Spano on me here. But, I mean, it's still, it's a good sign for a team that is trying to make this move and make things happen. As the trade package and the thing between Portland, unfortunately, is stemming from Miami has 2, maybe 3 first-rounders if you go into their 2030 year. But unfortunately, the Portland Trailblazers are looking at this and saying, well, we need more than that. We want at least 4 first-rounders and also some players. So the last package that was pushed out for the Damian Lillard trade was 3 of their own first-round picks in 24, 28, and 2030, plus 1 or 2 additionals via a first-round team that acquires Hero. And, at least now with this latest performance from Tyler, hopefully – he's the hero that we need and other teams will see. Tyler can ball, man. I mean, this is a 7th pick blue blood stud that has improved his numbers every year. And you got to love the idea, too, that even after he got the bag, that he is still continuing to push himself and clearly put in the work and still has a point to prove that, how dare you guys think that I'm just some expendable asset here. So if there's another team looking for a solid second or third scorer on your team that has, some good experience and can easily help you win a championship, a late first rounder extra to go ahead and get this kid guaranteed, to me, is a no-brainer. Too many teams value and too many fans, y'all get way too obsessed with those picks, man. I don't want to say that they're just picks, but especially if you're a good team on the cusp and you know that your first rounder is going to be like 16 and down, for Tyler, you wouldn't give that up for a proven professional 20-point scorer, over the last few years, who is, by the way, going to be a value when you consider his contract. Yes, he is getting 4 years, $120 million, and I know that's like, that sounds ridiculous. That's just crazy. Money, 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 money. But if he continues to give you 20-plus points per game and continues to show improvement after every year, again, just from 2021 to 2022, in those last 2 seasons, went from 15 points a game to 20 points per game, you wouldn't give up. Do you know how many late, especially first-round picks, don't pan out to be a goddamn thing? He's guaranteed. So it looks like maybe they can go ahead and get all that deal done. The problem, and it continues to lie here, is that if you're Portland, you don't care because you can get much better deals from other teams. So this idea that Damian wants to go ahead and play in Miami, I mean, I guess you understand it if you're, if you're Portland and you go like, okay, we get it. You put in a lot of work and we want to help you out. But at the same time, we don't owe you that. You don't have a no trade clause. And so you look at teams like, let's say, the Utah Jazz. This is one that might come in and throw a haymaker here. Do you know that the Utah Jazz have 14 picks, first-round picks in the next 6 years? I'll repeat that again, like James Harden talking about Daryl Morey. The Utah Jazz have 14 first-round picks in the next 6 years. They have 7 in the next 3. And they have young talent, guys like Keontae George, they just drafted, Colin Sexton, Taylor Horton-Tucker, and they got so many picks that they can just, almost just leave some behind and forget about them. So if you're Portland and you're getting offers from these other teams, you feel bad for Damian, but at the same time, I don't know what to tell you, man. I mean, I know you want to go there, but unless this guy continues to have these improved Summer League performances and we continue to get some sort of comparable value, we're going to continue to be in the stalemate. And so looks like that's what's happening there. It looks like that, unfortunately, this is... I hope so. I hope that Hero can continue to do his thing, and that they can continue to push his value and maybe get a first and a second or something. I don't know what they're going to be able to finagle here. Everyone wants it. I want to see it. You want to see it, unless you're an Eastern Conference fan like the Celtics or the Sixers. Most NBA fans want to see Damian to Miami. Tyler is the key. Tyler just looked great. Unfortunately, there's other packages that they can be offered that are just much more enticing if you're the Portland Trailblazers. So Cronin, I at least feel some sympathy between a rock and a hard place of wanting to do what's right and wanting to do what's right for his team, and those are two completely different options, unfortunately. All right, so moving on from that, let's get into some big updates in the NFL. There were some big signings in the running back position. Not Johnathan Taylor, obviously. He continues to bitch. But Ezekiel Elliott is a Patriot. Dalvin Cook is now a New York Jet. Showing that, there's at least a spot for you if you're a top running back, maybe just not the money that you thought that you deserved. But in case you missed it, yes, these two right here, and, I got to go ahead. If I had to pick the value, what's the better signing? I'm going to lean barely Dalvin Cook, just because the Jets look more complete and ready to go with Aaron Rodgers and this new buzz that they have in New York. It really seems like, with now Wilson has an injury, so we'll see how that goes. But he should be fine by the time the NFL season actually matters. So with, Wilson looking like the possible next, Justin Jefferson, but he's going to be a great, pretty good wide receiver here. And, Breece Hall, their star running back coming off injury, signing and getting Dalvin Cook. And, oh, by the way, all due to the fact that Aaron Rodgers, in his older age and wisdom, after doing whatever he did in the dark for a couple days, and I don't even want to know what that was all about. But, he took a pay cut to go ahead and allow the Jets to make these moves, and so it paid off beautifully. We've been speculating this for a while, but yes, Dalvin Cook just signed a one-year deal worth up to $8.6 million. Dalvin Cook is a guy who's coming off 4 Pro Bowls and is a absolute phenomenal rusher and can do a lot for them in the backfield, especially with their last year's star running back, Breece Hall, still coming back from injury. Now, Cook is also coming back from shoulder surgery, so we'll see how that goes. But still, when you consider that the Jets are making this nice big push and are changing the culture, if you go watch Hard Knocks, you'll see a lot of that. And they are one of only 4 teams who haven't had a 1,000-yard rusher since 2015. The fact that they're getting Dalvin Cook because Aaron Rodgers decided to take the pay cut is the total opposite and what you want to see, instead of, some of these other players we discussed earlier bitching, being me. To have the star of your team allow another star to come in and someone who can be very, very helpful because of what went down and because of their best player kind of looking at the bigger picture. I really think that's the bigger signing overall when you consider the drought they've had at that position. Although Ezekiel Elliott to New England is interesting. It is interesting. If anyone can do a reclamation project, it is Bill Belichick. He's a no-nonsense, hoodie-wearing, just boring-ass interview. I think when last asked about the Ezekiel Elliott signing, he was quoted as saying, hoodie and Tom Brady kissed my ass. He's the worst interview, I think, ever. Him and Popovich, it's interesting, great coaching somehow, shitty interviewing skills. I don't really know how that works. But Bill Belichick is a no-nonsense dude who can take people that have gone other places and either been a malcontent or, a little bit of a prima donna and not had success and do something with them. Ezekiel Elliott, he does have a point to prove here. He did sign a one-year deal that, has a $3 million base and $1 million signing bonus and could be worth up to $6 million in incentive. And also good news for Ezekiel Elliott and Patriots fans, Stevenson is the number 1, but he's not exactly Johnathan Taylor or Austin Eckler or Christian McCaffrey or something. And Belichick has always enjoyed splitting backs and using a dual back role. Ezekiel Elliott's yards were down last year. Yards per carries were down last year, but he did average 12, or he did not average. He got 12 touchdowns. He's still a red zone threat. He's a goal line threat. He can do the other things too. He can block. He's an excellent pass blocker. This is someone that Mac Jones could really use in his backfield, an experienced veteran who knows how to protect his quarterback. He's still a goal line threat. He still has a lot of positive experience, and if Bill can get his head on straight, that's all going to be a cool situation, I think, for New England as well. I think both these signings were very impressive and were bigger deals and bigger news to me than I think a lot of people are making out of them, especially considering all the nonsense we've dealt with the running back situation and all the bitching and moaning. To see two stars get on two winning situations, especially, Cook to New York here. Although I think that Zeke is going to help. I really do think Zeke's going to help out a lot in New England. It's nice to see at least they're not maybe getting the money they want, but running backs are at least getting, somewhere. There's still a home. If you're a star running back, you're still making $8 million or up to $6 million. We could set up a GoFundMe as I continue this theme of like, oh, you poor babies. Yeah, Dalvin Cook has been a 4-year Pro Bowler. Ezekiel Elliott was one of the best running backs in the game. They're only making $8 million and $6 million, guys. Let's all see what we can do. Let's all work together, maybe. Work an extra shift. Work maybe one more double. Don't go to that restaurant with your family that you were going to do. Save that $100. Let's all set up a GoFundMe for, Johnathan Taylor and Ezekiel Elliott and who are some of the other ones that are out there complaining. Nick Chubb and others. Like let's all work together, guys. We can do it. We can give them the value that these poor owners won't give them. Dalvin Cook and Zeke only getting $8 and $6 million. I mean, how are they going to feed their children? You get my point. That's being a little shut up and dribbleish. I get it, but still, I mean, whatever. But the good news for both. Again, I'll repeat, I think that Ezekiel will really help out the New England Patriots and will have a resurgence under Bill Belichick and their no-nonsense system. And Dalvin Cook clearly not only is great for a team that has not had a 1,000-yard rusher in the last 4 seasons, but the fact that he was able to get there because Aaron Rodgers restructured his contract and took a pay cut in order to add that help, not only, helps solidify Aaron as the leader and really unifies the locker room, but continues this buzz and this push. And, a lot of people don't like the Hard Knock stuff and don't like the stories and the attention, but I'll tell you what, Detroit, seemed to catch a buzz and a different feel from having them there last year. And I'm seeing the same thing in New York. I'm seeing the same, there's just a different, you can just say, and they're even telling you, there's a different attitude right now in the Jets organization, and this is all coming together beautifully. Watch out for the Jets. Watch out for them. I really think that they're going to be as, good as people are hyping them up to be. I think they could be a legitimate threat out there in the AFC. Speaking of Hard Knocks and nice stories, I got to get to this. This is, like I said, I enjoy the Hard Knocks stories. I enjoy, the guys that you may not hear about, HBO Hard Knocks series. And, they focus more now on the stars nowadays. They have more access. But a lot of times, they show these preseasons and they show you the guys who are trying to make it, who are still making that push, who, have worked really hard and because of XYZ, maybe didn't get the right opportunity or they got hurt or just for whatever reason in the, Oakland A's, Moneyball, Island of Misfit Toys, there's always one or two guys that look like they really could and should be a contributor and someone who can be very valuable to an organization and for whatever reason get overlooked, for whatever reason get passed on. There's a story actually out of Dallas, of all places, I wanted to focus on for a second. We got a guy in Deuce Vaughn. I really want y'all to pay attention to the guy named Deuce Vaughn. Deuce Vaughn is 5'5". 5'5". I don't even know if you understand just how short that is, but that is embarrassingly tiny when it comes to the NFL to be 5'5", and I want to say 176 pounds. I mean, that is tiny, 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 tiny. And I had talked about him actually, and I'll show the tape here because it's actually a cool story. But Deuce Vaughn, I was showing this when I was making a video about could 500 children tackle Derrick Henry. And I was trying to explain that the average 5-year-old is 3'7". And so the best comparison I could come up with to show you was Deuce Vaughn in training for the Cowboys, because he was 5'5" and $170, and he still looked like someone's child out there. I mean, if you look at this is the guy I'm talking about. Look at this little fella. Look at this little running back. And again, I'll repeat, the giant new helmets that they use for safety just emphasize even worse. He looks like Lord Helmet from Spaceballs. But I mean, you know, this is 5'5", 176 pounds, 6th round pick Deuce Vaughn. And look at the little guy go. Look at who's a football player. Yes, you are. Yes, you are. Now, Deuce could probably kick my ass. But again, there's a focus on his size, and that's a reason he dropped all the way down to the 6th round. Cool story, though, and this is part of the reason I'm bringing it up. He was actually drafted and got the phone call. This went viral by his own father. His father, Chris Vaughn, is actually head of scouting for college scouting for the Dallas Cowboys, and they took a shot at him in the 6th round. You know, he does have, you know, some good numbers out of Kansas State. He is a good player, but because of his size, he dropped to the 6th and was available. So Dallas kind of, you know, took a risk on him and had this great viral moment where his dad was actually able to be the one to call him and ask him, does he want to, you know, play for his team? This was a great moment here.
Hey, buddy. How's it going? Hey, it's going good. This is Dad. My phone wasn't working. Look at here, man. You want to come to work with me next week?
I wouldn't mind that at all.
Watch here, and just went with what he knows in terms. He's going to be a great football player.
Oh yeah.
There's his dad on the line. That's awesome. Look at him. Look how emotional he is.
That's amazing.
Can you imagine?
So yeah, by itself right there, that's already a great moment, right? Already by itself, that's a cool story. This little 5'5", 170-pound little guy, you know, was able to not only be drafted, but be drafted by his own father, and then have the moment where he got to call him and ask him, do you want to play, and all that. The story doesn't end there, because apparently Deuce Vaughn is a goddamn ball player. Deuce Vaughn is out there looking great, and it was a first preseason game, but I mean, he had, you know, I want to say 80 carries, or 80 yards on like 5. I mean, the dude was absolutely phenomenal out there and was doing his thing. 8 carries for 50 yards and a touchdown, 8 yards, or I'm stuttering. I'm choked up. 8 carries for 50 yards and a touchdown. And the touchdown was a great moment. Fans were chanting Deuce, and it was just this whole thing. It was such a phenomenal, cool thing to watch. Check this out.
Chance rain down here from Cowboys Nation. Deuce again. Deuce in the end zone. Deuce Vaughn for 6, and Dallas has the lead.
That is a way to.
So yeah, you see the fans are enjoying it. You see the fans are going nuts, and it looks like maybe this is no joke that this 5'5", 6th round pick was not just a nice story and was not just kind of a charity case where the Cowboys said, hey, you know, let's go ahead and draft him. His dad works for us. It'll be a cool moment. It'll go viral if we can have Pops call him and be like, hey, do you want to play for us? Turns out this kid might be the help now that Ezekiel Elliott is gone. And, you know, they are looking for some shifty backups behind Tony Pollard. This little bugger can go, man. And the backup situation, the backup running back situation is open. So if there's a, you know, fan favorite or someone we can get behind, yes, I know it's the star. Yes, I know it's the Cowboys. But I'm Cowboys neutral. I don't love or hate them, and I love this story. I always will go for and love and support any island misfit toy type guy who's a great player, who's overlooked because of X, because of Y, because of Z. I mean, the XYZ is clearly the obvious. He's 5'5", 170 pounds. But I mean, the last time he did play there, you know, he was the TCU, when he was at TCU, he was the bowl game like player of the game or whatever. He likes AT&T Stadium. He seems to like the Dallas Cowboys. I like Deuce Vaughn. I'm rooting for him, and you should too. Go out there, you little 5'5" maniac. Go ahead and get you your backup job. Go ahead and get you a solidified spot out there for Dallas. We got you, kid. I'm with you. I'm with you. All right, hopefully you're with me. Still there? Good. You know what it's time for? Some videos. Some videos.
You seen it? You seen it?
Don't look at me. Don't look at me, little puppet.
Have you seen this? Have you read about this?
All right, let's get into it. Tricky Guy Sports shirts it on YouTube. This is a bonus section where I react specifically to either dumb, funny, or, cringeworthy videos, whatever it is. It's always a good time. Please search YouTube Tricky Guy Sports, and you can find and watch these all along with us. Let's see. Where should I start? I got a bunch today I wanted to get to. Actually, really did have a lot of them. Let's go with, this is just a fun one. This is from some tennis match somewhere. Always keep your wits about you. Always keep cool. Even under pressure, you never know, man. Sometimes just keep cool, man. Just don't let them see you sweat. This kid retrieving tennis balls. This is pretty damn funny. Here you go, sir. Got a ball for you. Oh, he dropped one. All right, let me go ahead and run back. And concussion. But I'm fine. I'm good. No, that was, I don't know who that was. Did you hear a noise? I didn't hear a noise. Here you go. Oh, let me get that. Don't want the tennis match to not go underway. Ow! No, what, huh? What? Cool, man. I'm cool, dog. What you looking at? Serve the ball. What? I'm fine. I don't know, some lady's up there, it's an Astros fan, banging a trash can. I don't know what's going on. I have no clue. Smooth, man. I like it. What else do I want to show you here that's fun? Oh, man, okay. Let me go ahead and get through these. The Cowboys. We just talked about the Deuce Vaughn story that is inspirational. This little, maybe unheard of 6th-round running back, 5'5", possibly making his way into, the actual 53-man roster and moving forward being an actual contributor. There's some names you maybe never heard of in Dallas and in Cowboys Nation. So as the Cowboys reporter was doing birthday wishes, let's see if you ever heard of this guy. Let's see if you ever heard of this guy, Cowboys Nation. Happy birthday wish out there during a live broadcast. Gotta love it.
Hello, Nate. My grandpa is a big Cowboys fan. Can you wish him, Mr. Drew P. Huevos, a happy birthday? Mr. Drew P. Huevos, happy birthday to you. We really appreciate you watching all of us here at Ken's 5. Hey, you know what, Mr. Huevos? I'll be honest, you share your birthday with the Dallas Cowboys quarterback, Dak Prescott, turning 29 earlier today. So I hope, Drew, all your birthday wishes here come true today.
Poor bastard. Clearly didn't get joke there.
Just don't get it, do you? You don't.
I love, too, that he was not only wishing the man this happy birthday, Drew P. Huevos, he deserves a birthday shout-out as much as everyone else, but that he is like, hey, I hope you share a birthday out there with one of our younger star players, man. Congratulations, Drew. Congratulations, Drew P. Huevos. I'm always a fan of dumb names, getting pranked and getting them through on a call, but he was just so happily ready to wish that happy birthday to Drew P. Huevos. And as a broadcaster, I do know when you got live and there's a lot of things going on, a lot of times things get lost in the mix, but still, he just has it just flies right over the noggin there.
Hello, Nate. My grandpa is a big Cowboys fan. Can you wish him, Mr. Drew P. Huevos, a happy birthday? Mr. Drew P. Huevos, happy birthday to you. We really appreciate you watching all of us here at Ken's 5. Hey, you know what, Mr. Huevos? I'll be honest, you share your birthday with the Dallas Cowboys quarterback,
That's the best part.
Dak Prescott, turning 29 earlier today. So I hope, Drew, all your birthday wishes here come true today.
So, yeah, late happy birthday to Dak Prescott and Drew P. Huevos. You poor bastard. Speaking of poor bastards, this is just a couple. Let me throw these in just real quick. Couple news clips. These are great. Speaking of maybe not understanding the term and live and just trying to, news anchors specifically, I found this out through broadcasting and radio, really aren't good at the ad lib. And they don't know how to even handle when an ad lib goes wrong. That's another thing, too, is like in radio, you learn Murphy's Law. Everything's going to go wrong, and you'll have to figure out ways to keep things in check and keep things going.
When keeping it real goes wrong.
This was ladies trying to keep it real and keep it ad-libbed, and it went horribly wrong. I'll just go ahead and play it here for you. There's not a lot of mystery as to the joke here.
And to another one. woman who likes to be double-fisted in a different way, I think, Jess.
She means beer. She means beer. Guys, she means beer. Don't put me on YouTube. My God.
Too late.
Yeah, we're going to take a pause. We're going to keep going. We're out in Reading right now, guys. We're watching Route 202.
Actually, I think she handled it pretty well. I think she's handled that better than I've seen other news reporters handle a mishap there. But yeah, you know, girl likes to be double-fisted, man.
And to another woman who likes to be double-fisted in a different way, I think, Jess.
She even goes in a different way. Again, news reporters struggle with the ad-lib. I mean, so much of that was teleprompter written for you. I guarantee you, unless Ron Burgundy and them were drunk in the background, nobody decided to type, oh, and also throw in that, the lady you're going to cut to also likes to be double-fisted, and make sure to mention in a different way. Like, just in case I didn't innuendo enough. Yeah, she likes to be double-fisted in another way, if you know what I mean. How do you double fist? You just go like that? Moving on. Sometimes instead of going in, it has a hard time coming out. News report here. I want to throw in one more of these since I got them. This was great. A bomb threat in, I believe it's Ohio somewhere. The assailant, it turns out to not be as big of a problem as people thought he was. Again, sometimes it's hard to get things in, and sometimes it's hard to get things out.
Some scary moments for customers at a Kansas Home Depot. Police responded to reports of a bomb threat at the store in Wichita. A customer alerted employees. A man inside the bathroom said there was a bomb in the building. Police were able to locate the man responsible for those comments, and that man told police he warned other guests to leave the restroom because he was, quote, fixing to blow it up, but had no intention of causing a panic. Man also told police others in the room laughed, understanding his joke, which I'm just now getting. Home Depot says they will not be pressing charges.
Again, news reporters struggle with the ad-lib, or, and there's a lot going on. There's lights, there's a teleprompter, you got to cut, you got this, you got people moving in the background. There's a lot of things going on. But yeah, when the dude's trying to tell you, I'm dropping such a huge deuce, there's a bomb about to go off in this bathroom,
That's a huge bitch.
It's interesting to me. And so, yeah, it took her a minute to understand the reference there, but apparently it wasn't the bomb everyone thought that was going to go down. I think, let me just cut to the middle here.
Bomb in the building. Police were able to locate the man responsible for those comments, and that man told police he warned other guests to leave the restroom because he was, quote, fixing to blow it up, but had no intention of causing a panic. Man also told police others in the room laughed, understanding his joke, which I'm just now getting. Home Depot says they will not be pressing charges.
Poor lady. Look, ladies blow it up too, so it took her a minute, but she gets it. She understands. She understands. Let me see what else I understand here as we're just having some fun. White people are stupid. Can I go ahead and do that one? Let's just go ahead and go here. I have a segment. We'll just go ahead and call this White People Are Some Dumb Caucasians.
It's all right, because it's all white.
All three of these videos, there's a theme here, and it's basically all white people doing stupid shit.
It's all right, because it's all white.
I mean, I really don't know what else to tell you. Let's start off with a golf buddy trying to hit a tee shot out of a tee that is inserted into his buddy's asshole. I don't really know what else to tell you here. I mean, look, let me put we're all golfing and probably drinking. Let me put a tee in your crack, lay down on the ground, and let me go ahead and take a drive. Apparently not going that well, shockingly. Not exactly Tiger Woods there.
It's all right, because it's all white.
I'm just saying. Then we go on to another video here. This is, once again, on a golf course where maintenance crew is supposed to be driving around doing their thing. And I'm not going to assume that there was drinking, but again, just, Yeah, we're going to drive real fast on the bridge. I tell you what, this thing can get up to 45 miles an hour sometimes. And did I mention it's a submarine? Did I mention this thing is can go on water as well as land? Yeah, let's go. I tell you what, man, I got my scuba gear. You know what? Screw it. We ain't golfing. We're swimming.
It's all right, because it's all white.
Just saying. I'm just saying. We got people hitting shots out of people's butts. We got people driving off into the water. I ain't seen anyone other than a certain color yet. You tell me if I'm wrong here. Last video, this is apparently some competition. This girl was very proud to win this event. They call it death diving, which I'll give you, it sounds like an awesome nickname.
All right, you got me. That's an awesome nickname.
It's not a nickname, though. It's pretty much spot on. It's Caucasians jumping way too high into a pool of water and risking injury for the sake of some glory on ESPN The Ocho or something. I mean, there's not much to it. It's really what it sounds like. Asborg Nezje, breaking barriers, first woman to do it. Congratulations to Asborg Nezje, goofily diving 1,000 feet into the water here. Everyone's going nuts. I'm going to continue this theme, and you let me know when I'm wrong, or let me know if I'm just being a jerk to be one. What do you see?
It's all right, because it's all white.
I can say that. I can say I am from the land of Caucasus. I can point out that, yes, some of the stereotypes do exist with us, especially in sports and extreme sports. It's us. We like to do, especially if we're drinking or, that thrill-seeking thing. It is a truly Caucasian-led and bred just gene that I don't have. I didn't get born with this. No one's ever convinced me to jump 1,000 feet off into the pool and dive into the water. No one's ever convinced me to put a, tee up my ass and let my buddy hit a drive off it. No one's convinced me to drive like 50 miles an hour going around a bridge so I can drive this, big-ass truck into the water. I just try to keep things safe and keep it pushing, and I just do recognize, though, a theme with us.
Because I'm white. Because he's white.
Because he is white. Look at him, man. What you want?
You know what? I almost feel like that's getting political. Let me move on to something a little more fun here. What else did I want to do? Oh, these are great. I've shown this a bunch of times, and this one's actually from 1974, in case you missed it. I will continue to point out that when pitchers throw at the hitter, that you have options as the hitter. I have shown you videos of a guy throwing the bat back at the pitcher. I have shown you others where the dude drags and takes his, baseball bat with him and chases the pitcher out in the center because, yeah, you threw a rock. I got a giant club, dipstick, and I'm going to go ahead and pound you in the head with it. There's a lot of creative ways other than just walking to first that you can get your revenge on a pitcher that beans you. And I don't know if anyone did it better than Lenny Randle. This is during a Rangers game in 1974. And so, as you'll see here, pitch behind him, and he's like, word, we're going to throw the ball behind me? All right, throw that next one. Got something for you. I got something for you. Oh, it's a bunt. And you're dead. They should study this. Should study this film. I love it. In full support of this. You want to throw the ball at me? Moron? All right, cool. You miss me? Just throw it behind me? I got to see that one more time. 1974 Rangers game. Oh, behind me, huh? Trying to beat me with the ball? Used to be a free safety. That is a hit stick. That is a Madden hit stick. Kapow! Taste the pain. Taste the Rangers rainbow. And you're dead.
Honey, take a good picture. I'm dead.
Well, fight breaks out. I'm with it. I'm 1,000% with it. We'll never understand why, pitchers think they have the rights to go ahead and throw a ball at someone who has a giant stick in their hand or is maybe possibly a former free safety for, University of Oklahoma or something. That dude laid the wood. I like it.
that idea, and I will support it.
I'm with it on that. Any more do I have here? I brought you P Huevos, tennis ball kid, the Rangers fight. Oh, God, okay. I'll throw this one in because what the F? New news out of Washington, in case you missed it. The Washington Commanders are now with new ownership led by Magic Johnson is one of the either minority or majority stake owners, but I believe he's a majority owner. And once again, the Commanders name, we've gone from the Redskins, which, I'm not touching that. I'll just leave that one alone. It's gone. It's been gone. They've been called the Commanders. And so the last couple years, that's been the interim name, but they're still not really feeling it. I'm not really feeling it. No one seems to be really feeling it. The Commanders is just not that great of a name. So they're looking still and said by 2024, there could be another mascot, logo, and team name out there in Washington. And with all the confusion and all of the nonsense and all of the mismatched hodgepodge, the way this organization is run, I say run with it. I say pick a logo and pick a mascot that suits this we don't even understand what's going on half the time. We're half of this, we're half of that, we're just a big old mess. I promote that the Washington Commanders become now the Washington, what is the name? The Powder Pigeons. I want the Washington Commanders, because of all the nonsense and because they're so confusing, why don't you become the Washington Powder Pigeon? What is a powder pigeon? Something I just found out about just a few days ago. It is a devil bird from hell. That is a powder pigeon. What the hell is that? It's got like pufferfish neck. It looks like dinosaur legs. It's got feathers sticking. Look at this monster. But I mean, hey, if you're the Commanders and you can't ever seem to figure things out and you're half this, you're half there, you're all over the place, you're confusing and scary in your organization, and you have been for years, and you're looking for something unique to fit your organization, be the Powder Pigeons. Why not? Come on. Powder Pigeons. Dun, 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 dun. Powder Pigeons. It's got a ring to it, man.
All right, you got me. That's an awesome nickname.
And that's the scariest mascot in the world. You put one of those live. How big are those? Can you get like giant ones of these? Look at this. That's a devil bird. That is from the land of hell. That's what pigeons look like, in Hades. Look at that goddamn creature. It's an absolute devil. That's all that is. That is from somewhere that's not from here.
Devil 666, the mark of the beast.
So that's what I present. Washington Commanders should be the Washington Powder Pigeons, and put 1,000 of those out there. See if that doesn't intimidate anyone who comes in from the NFC East. Prescott might throw 5 interceptions that game when he travels to Washington. Just saying. Just saying. All right, I'm just saying it's time, and I got to go. Hope you had fun. We'll talk again soon. Bye.